Now, the Federal Reserve Bank has to raise interest rates in order to bring inflation down, because this high inflation is caused by too much money entering our economy, and the way that you can fight inflation is by doing the opposite of what caused the inflation. That means now essentially pulling money out of the economy. How do we do that? Well, you can raise interest rates, because when you raise interest rates, it makes borrowing money more expensive. When people are less likely to borrow money, then there's less money entering the economy. But that does have a side effect, because if people aren't borrowing money, that means there's less dollars coming in, which means less dollars are being spent, which leads to a slowdown in the economy. But it's a little bit more complex than that, because remember what we talked about with these high debt levels. Well, we have the largest amount of corporate debt, the largest amount of national debt, and the largest amount of household debt than ever before. Well, now when we're an economy that relies on these high debt levels and the cost of borrowing this debt goes up, that's going to cause pain to the economy, especially when most of these debts are not a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. See, we have the benefit here in America where when people want to buy a home, you can get a 30-year fixed rate debt. Most places around the world don't have a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, and most of our debts here in America are not fixed rate debts. Like most corporate debts are not fixed rate debts. They might be a 1-year term or a 2-year term, maybe a 5-year term, but then after that term, the debt is going to readjust. That means that now the corporation is going to have to pay this debt back with the higher interest rates. So as this debt starts to readjust for corporations, their payments on their debt is going to go up. Even if they don't have a larger balance, their payments will rise because the interest rates are more than 2 times higher today than where they were before. It's the same with our national government. Every 3 to 6 months, we're seeing more and more of our previous national debt readjust, and so the payments on our national debt is starting to rise. And same with credit cards and other variable interest rate loans that people have. These debts keep readjusting, which means that even if you don't increase your debt balance, the interest rates keep rising. So now what we're seeing happen is you're seeing corporations say, oh no, we're looking at our future debt payments and we're seeing our costs go through the roof. Why? Because our cost to pay these debts that we have, to buy back our own stock, to pay off these dividends, or to do whatever we did with this high debt, well, it's not producing us any money, but our cost to pay back this debt is about to skyrocket. And so now as a business, when you see your costs starting to go up, you're going to need more revenue in order to pay this cost. And we're facing a slower economy, which means people are spending less money. And so if people are spending less money, that means businesses are making less money at a time where their costs are rising. What does that do? Well, that forces more businesses to cut costs. How do you cut costs in this situation? Well, you can't cut your debt because, well, you don't have the money to pay back the debt. So what do? You got to fire people, you have to lay off people, which causes an even further slowdown in the economy because now, well, less people have an income. At the time of me recording this video, the Federal Reserve Bank, Jerome Powell, want to keep raising interest rates. We don't know how aggressively they want to keep raising interest rates, but they want to keep raising interest rates in 2023. And at the very least, they want to keep interest rates where they are. Meaning, ideally, they want interest rates to be even higher at the end of 2023 than where they are now. But at the least, they want to keep interest rates where they are now. This comes at a time where a lot of people are hoping interest rates will fall, because if interest rates fall, it makes it easier for people to buy a home. It makes it easier for people to buy a car. It makes it easier for corporations to borrow more money. And it makes it easier for the national debt to be paid off. But this is where the Federal Reserve Bank is saying, we're not going to play this politics. At least right now, they're saying that they want to keep raising interest rates as a way to bring inflation down. Because if you don't keep raising interest rates and inflation gets out of hand, well, now we have even bigger issues in our economy, which is potential hyperinflation, which is a potential currency crisis. And so to avoid that, the Federal Reserve Bank says we're going to keep raising interest rates, even if that means hurting the economy, even if that means hurting corporations, even if that means hurting households, even if that means hurting the national debt for a little period, because we have to get inflation under control. What is the consequence of higher interest rates? Also, a slowdown in the economy. The fourth threat to our economy is what I call a value shock or valuation shock. Now, before I jump deeper into this, if you do want to stay up to date on what's happening in our economy with things like inflation, debt, interest rates, the housing market, crypto, the stock market, then you should join something like Market Briefs. Market Briefs is a free resource that I created to help investors, to help people like you stay up to date on what's happening in the financial markets. It's completely free. You can read this newsletter in less than 5 minutes every morning, and it's fun to read. I promise you, you're going to enjoy reading market briefs and you are going to be smarter after reading market briefs in the morning, and it doesn't cost you a penny. So if you want to join market briefs, it's completely free, and I'll put the link to how you can join market briefs for free down in the description below. If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide on how to start generating passive income for free. All you gotta do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.